Stop. Don't scroll. I need to speak with the person who can't shake the feeling that they missed someone important, that a face in a crowd long ago was more than just a face. God has prepared a word for you about a reunion He is engineering in your life, and the enemy of your destiny has been working overtime to make you believe it's too late. This isn't just a feeling of loneliness. For you, it has been a spiritual condition. A chronic ache that feels like a signature of your life, a persistent sense that a key piece of your God-given destiny is missing because a person is missing. You feel it in your body, a physical restlessness, a phantom limb sensation for a person you haven't properly met, making you feel ungrounded in your own skin. You feel it in your decisions, an inability to commit fully to other relationships, to jobs, even to cities, because of a lingering, undefined what-if that holds your future hostage. You feel paralyzed, observing a life others seem to live so easily, and you feel it most sharply with your family. During gatherings where relationships and futures are celebrated, you feel a deep sense of alienation. You are an observer watching a story unfold that you feel permanently paused on chapter 1. In the next few minutes, I will show you where and when you crossed paths with this person before, even if you don't remember it. I will deliver to you 3 words, and the last of them will reveal the Hebrew name for the divine appointment God has placed on your life. And third, I will seal you with 3 new names of identity. If you leave now, you leave without the seal of recognition for this reunion. And there's a 4th thing I'll be placing in your hands before this message ends, something that Solomon recorded for the child of God who needs to cross the space between a memory and a meeting, and that fits into an ordinary day. This isn't a book to study. It's an instrument to sustain the weight of a divine preview, the weight of that missed connection that was actually a divine preview. I'll come back to it. For now, stay. The past encounter was a seed. The coming reunion is the harvest, and your preparation is the water God is calling for. Before I deliver this word to you, I need you to understand something. And on this very topic, on that face turning away in a crowded room, on that echo of a stranger's laugh that felt strangely familiar, on the memory of that brief, helpful gesture from someone you can't fully recall, there is something that Solomon recorded, our 2-minute key that fits into your ordinary day. Tuck it away in the back of your mind. And if you need to leave before the end of this video, that instrument is already waiting for you in the first pinned comment, right below. But I ask you to stay until the end, because without the context that is coming now, the key does not work with the same strength in your hand. Have you ever felt that this feeling of a missed connection is not just human, but spiritual? What if this pattern of almost relationships is a sign that there's a battle against the specific covenant God has designed for you? While many try to explain this away as romantic fantasy or unwillingness to commit, few realize that the spirit of missed timing doesn't attack what you have, but what God is building for you. But what if the true reason for this ache is hidden in the very person you can't seem to fully remember? Now think with me. What if everything you've been through until today, that face turning away, the echo of that laugh, that helpful gesture from a stranger, is the answer to the question you've carried for years? Lord, did I miss them? It was in seeking an answer to this that I found this digital guide called The Code of Solomon's Wisdom. This guide is not just a reading. It is a key of spiritual understanding, a tool made for those who wish to see beyond appearances, to stop treating a divine preview as a trick of the mind, and to understand why the spirit of missed timing fights so hard against those who carry the mark of a divine appointment. Several chosen ones here on the channel have already felt the call of this instrument, but have not yet made the decision to download the digital guide. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment. If you are one of the first to download it, come back here and write Amen. That will be your act of faith, and this very day God may show you the reason why the damage of settling for less has risen up against your life. Before I give you the word God has for you, I need you to recognize 5 things that have been happening in your life. They are not predictions, they are recognitions, and if I am right about at least 3 of them, you and I will both know why you stopped scrolling today. The first sign is the lingering image. A stranger's face from years ago that appears in your mind at random, critical moments without any logical trigger. It's not nostalgia, It is heaven's screenshot. It is a divine preview of a face your spirit has already met. What feels like a ghost from the past is actually an anchor for your future. God is showing you that the face you can't forget is the face you are destined to remember. The second sign is the unfinished song. You feel a constant low-grade sense that your life's song is playing in the wrong key, or that a harmony is missing. You find yourself drawn to stories of reunion and completion, not as fantasy, but as a deep spiritual resonance. This isn't a sign of discontent. It is a sign that your spirit is tuned to a frequency that this world cannot yet hear. You were created as a duet, and your soul remembers the melody of the other voice. The third sign is the reserved space. You look at an old family photo album on a quiet Sunday afternoon, or you sit at a family dinner, and you feel a pang of absence for the person who isn't there yet. The silent space at the table feels sacred and reserved. This is not loneliness. This is prophecy. Your family nucleus is a spiritual house, and you have been keeping a room ready, a chair waiting for someone your spirit has already welcomed home. And about that empty chair at the family table, that space in the photo you can feel but not see, the one you just recognized now, I have already left the instrument waiting for you in the first pinned comment. If you need to leave before the end, it is there. But stay, because the Hebrew name for what is happening to you has not yet been spoken. And before I move on to the fourth and fifth sign, a brief pause. And beyond our digital book, Chosen One, you have here another way to strengthen this message that reached your home today, and to make it reach more and more chosen ones like you. We don't receive a single cent for every word I deliver to you here on this channel every day. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we keep a voluntary donation link open right below the digital book in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits your hand today, any sum your heart points to, that's what keeps our channel standing. That's what makes the next message reach another person who needs it, exactly as you needed it. I'll wait for you there, chosen one. Returning now to the fourth sign. The fourth sign is the spirit of recognition. You have encounters with people who seem perfect on paper. The right job, the right family, the right faith. But your spirit remains silent, even agitated. You recognize their lack of appointment before your mind admits it. This isn't you being too picky. This is your spirit, trained by the Holy Spirit, acting as a gatekeeper for your heart. It recognizes the difference between a good person and your appointed person. Your spirit does not negotiate on matters of divine assignment. The fifth and final sign is the path of preparation. You have been on a long, sometimes painful journey of personal and spiritual growth. You look back and see seasons of breaking, of healing, of learning, and of solitude. In hindsight, it seems less about you and more like you were being prepared to be a safe harbor for someone else. This was not a detour. It was the curriculum. God has been shaping you into the answer to someone else's prayer, the very prayer they are praying for you right now, without even knowing your name. These 5 signs that you have just recognized are not symptoms of a breakdown. They are signs of an awakening. They are the evidence that you are not forgotten, but being prepared. The aching is the birthing. The waiting is the watering. And the name for what is awakening in you is held in a single Hebrew word. Before I show you the instrument that Solomon left for the ordinary day, I need to give you the Hebrew name for what you carry, because the instrument only makes sense after you know the name. And there is a word in Hebrew that defines this exact state you are in, a word that recontextualizes everything I have just described in the last few minutes. There is a word in the original Hebrew that changes everything you thought you knew, and what comes now will explain to you why everything happened in this order. Carrying the weight of that name you don't yet know alone is not what Solomon prepared for you. He prepared something else, an instrument for this exact moment, and that is what I am going to place in your hands now. This is not theory, it is an instrument. The code of Solomon's wisdom is the instrument that Solomon left for the child of God, who needs to cross the ordinary day without losing what was received in the secret place. When you keep choosing people who are available, not appointed, you need this instrument to guard your heart for them, not from them. When you come home to a house, not a sanctuary, because the other pillar is missing, you need this instrument to prepare your home as if they are already on their way. And when you say yes, just to keep from being lonely, and not because your spirit says yes, you need this instrument to recognize a spirit, not just a face. And if you're feeling right now that this is exactly what you need, before I even continue, place your thumb now over the link in the first pinned comment. Don't click yet, just place your thumb. Feel the weight of the decision before you make the decision. This is not a method to do more. It is an instrument to sustain more. It does not train you, it covers you. It shows you where that feeling of a missed connection is acting, before it turns into another wrong decision. It reveals the strategy of the enemy before it becomes your pattern. It interrupts the cycle of that missed connection before it becomes your next Monday morning, a temporal IT that arrives sooner than you think. And it comes with 2 seals for your home, not for your performance. Badakan first seal disrakan tasenis morailisburf, the ritual of the righteous sleep phrase. It's an audio. You don't read it. You lie down. And what you used to call insomnia, today you'll call unsealed vigil. And you'll learn to seal the night with the right name, in the right order, in the right voice. The second seal is the awakening of clarity, the 7 morning decrees, 7 short phrases, 1 for each morning of the week, so you don't wake up again without identity. So you cross the first hour of the day with the posture of one who has been sent, and not with the posture of one who has been run over. And the hesitation you are feeling right now, it isn't doubt. It is the spirit of that missed connection, the spirit of missed timing, acting inside you in this very moment, pushing you to close this window. You recognize this pattern, the moment it's time to pray, and a sudden sleepiness arrives, the moment to open the word and your phone buzzes. The hesitation you feel is the confirmation that you are standing exactly at the point where the turnaround happens. And it is precisely for this reason that the next part exists. You have 7 full days to use and feel it. If in 7 days the instrument has not touched what needs to be touched in you, you can return it. No questions asked, no justification needed. And the 2 seals, the ritual and the decrees, remain with you even if you return it. They are yours unconditionally. But I must be direct with you. The real risk is not spending less than a Thursday lunch at the deli. The real risk is the next critical moment arriving, and you are still standing with empty hands. That is the risk that has a face, and it is about that face that I need to speak with you now. And perhaps you are asking yourself a few questions right now, questions that deserve an answer before we proceed. What if this isn't just about my desire for companionship, but about God's plan for 2 lineages? That is precisely the point. The enemy doesn't fight this hard against a preference. He fights this hard against a covenant that affects generations. This instrument helps you stand as the guardian of that covenant. What if my readiness is the final piece God has been waiting for to schedule the reunion? Your readiness is not just a piece, it is the signal. Heaven is waiting for you to become the safe harbor you were called to be. The guide is the tool to build that harbor. What if this instrument is the very key to ensuring I don't miss the reunion when it finally happens? Recognizing the one God has appointed is not a mental task, but a spiritual one. The Code of Solomon's wisdom tunes your spirit to recognize the divine appointment, so that when that face appears again, your spirit, not just your eyes, will know. And still, if you only want the guide, it is enough. But the complete home is built with all 3. A woman of 38, a freelance professional, started using the guide after months of feeling that familiar echo of a stranger's laugh in quiet moments, a feeling that kept her soul in constant alert. The first week after using the audio ritual, she felt her spirit quiet for the first time in years. She wrote me just 1 sentence. I thought I was on watch, I was actually just waiting for the password. A small business owner of 42, facing a critical decision he'd postponed for a year, kept seeing the same face turning away in a crowd in his mind's eye every time he had to sign the papers. After applying the key for 7 days, he finally made the call that changed his business. The phrase he sent was, "What I called being careful was actually cowardice in a suit." A grandmother of 61, who felt a deep ache every time she looked at the empty chair at her Sunday table, began using the guide. 2 weeks later, her estranged granddaughter called her out of the blue. just to talk. She wrote, "I stopped seeing an empty chair and started setting a table for a miracle. Maybe 3 hours from now you will be lying in bed again, the memory of a stranger's laugh echoing in the quiet, remembering that you saw this video and still did not reach out your hand. Maybe the next time a critical moment arrives, the feeling of that missed connection will paralyze you again, and you will think, 'I knew what it was. I just didn't have the instrument in my hand.' Or maybe you'll see another couple who seem to have it all, celebrating an anniversary on social media, and you will feel that sharp physical pain of, 'That should have been me,' not out of envy for them, but out of a deep longing for the one you are still waiting for. And the slow erosion of hope continues arriving, with the same alarm clock, with the same coffee, with the same door opening on the next Monday morning. The link is in the first pinned comment, pinned for you. Not for everyone, for you. Whoever needs to cross the next critical moment with the instrument in hand clicks now. And when you do this, when you open that link, you are not buying a book. You are accepting an instrument that Solomon prepared for your ordinary day. And what you are about to understand, when you hear the Hebrew word that is coming now, will change the way you read everything that has happened until here. And before I deliver the next word that's still coming now, because it's still coming, and it weighs, I want to remind you of one thing, chosen one. As I told you earlier, beyond the digital book that's in the first pinned comment, there's that voluntary donation link open, right below the book. We continue receiving not a single cent for every word I deliver here for you every day. That's why this link exists, chosen one, so that another person tomorrow finds exactly this word that found you today. Any amount your heart points to. Each gesture like that keeps our channel standing and makes the next message reach whoever needs it, exactly as it reached you today. And one more thing before we return to the message, I want you to know the following. From time to time here on our channel, I record a special honor video. A thank you video with a special word only to recognize the chosen ones who donated the most and those who acquired the digital book. All who sustained this word with me deserve that mention of gratitude for such a generous act. You sow here, heaven remembers you up there, and I remember you down here. I'll wait for you there at the link, again chosen one. And now finally the Hebrew word that will change everything. The Hebrew word that defines exactly what is happening to you is moed. Pronounce it with me, moed. Moed means an appointed time, a set feast, a sacred meeting orchestrated by God. It's the word for an intersection in time that was scheduled by heaven before you were born. It's not just a dictionary definition. It's a word that describes a state, a posture, a calling. It means that the face you saw in the crowd, the voice you heard in the cafe was not an accident. It was a moed, a divine appointment whose first part has already happened. You just didn't have the name for it until now. And about this word it is written in Psalm 4 verse 8, I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. This is not a promise for the future. It is a declaration of a present state. The only one who can truly say this, who can lay their soul down in peace, is the one who understands they are living in a moed, not the one who strives to be, but the one who simply is. And to understand this, we need to look at Boaz. Not Boaz the great patriarch, but Boaz the man standing in his field, a man carrying the weight of his lineage, responsible for the integrity of his house, watching for signs. His problem was a face in his field. He sees a stranger, a woman from Moab named Ruth, and in that moment he faces the same question you face. Is this a random occurrence, a simple worker gleaning from the edges, or is this a divine preview, an appointment? He asks his servant, whose damsel is this? The question itself reveals the state of discernment. He recognized she was not just any woman. Boaz did not have Solomon's guide. He had to operate on raw spiritual instinct. So he issued a command of protective wisdom, providing for her from a distance before he ever spoke to her directly. He didn't rush in. He created a space of safety around her. He applied a wisdom that his descendant Solomon would later codify, and this happened on an ordinary day. In the middle of the harvest, under the hot sun, he gives a simple order to his young men. Let her glean even among the sheaves and do not reproach her. Also, pull out some for her from the bundles and leave it for her to glean, and do not rebuke her. It was a quiet, practical, hidden act of provision, a test of the spirit. The true turning point, the reunion, happened later at the threshing floor under the cover of night. But that reunion was only possible because of the first, quiet act of recognition in the field. By providing for her in secret, Boaz broke the cycle of her being a destitute outsider. He declared her part of his concern before he declared her part of his life. And what Boaz did, acting on that instinct, you can do now with certainty. Not because you are lesser, but because the key is the same. The instrument that Solomon recorded is the same one waiting for you in the first pinned comment. To ensure you don't miss the second half of your moed. Remember the seed I told you about at the beginning of this video? The one that seemed dead in the winter? This moed you just received is the name of the season you are in. It's a season of divine appointment. And the instrument Solomon left is how you walk through this season without losing the seed. And now that you have the name, I need to deliver 3 things to you. First, a simple summary of what has happened so far, then the type of your calling, and 3 names that will carry you through to the end of the year. Let's begin. Let me stop for a full minute and put everything you just heard in simple words. No poetry, no metaphor, just the facts. Fact 1. There exists a spirit called the spirit of missed timing that makes you reinterpret a divine preview as just a missed connection. It wants you to believe that a moed was just a coincidence. Fact 2. It does this by cheapening the weight of that divine appointment, making it feel like a romantic fantasy instead of a spiritual assignment. Fact 3. Boaz himself was almost consumed by this. He could have seen Ruth as just another poor woman in his field and moved on, missing his divine appointment entirely. Fact 4. Your prudence, your desire to be realistic and not get your hopes up, can become the very sentence that locks you into the slow erosion of hope, the very damage of settling for less. Now, with that said, let's move on to the type of your calling. There are 4 types of chosen ones who are being specifically tested by this spirit of missed timing right now. Each one receives a different kind of attack. You are one of these 4. And when I name yours, your spirit will recognize it. The first is the intercessor. You are the one who has been unknowingly praying for this person, covering them in the spirit without even knowing their name. The ache you feel is not just your own longing, it is a spiritual burden you carry for them. You feel their struggles as your own restlessness, their battles as your own anxieties. Does your heart ache for a person whose face you cannot see, but whose soul you can feel? You might be the intercessor. The second is the forerunner. Your entire life, especially the most painful parts, has been a journey of preparing the ground. The healing you fought for, the wisdom you gained through tears, the stability you built from rubble, it wasn't just for you. You were tilling the soil and building the house so that when they arrive, spiritually exhausted and battle-worn, they would find a place of rest. Is your past a map of preparation for someone you have not yet met? You might be the forerunner. The third is the waymaker. You are the one who carries the practical wisdom, the resources, the stability. While they have been drifting, you have been building. God has given you a home, a career, a foundation not just for your own security, but to be a platform for a shared destiny. You have what they need to stop surviving and start fulfilling their calling. Do you feel you have built a life for 2, even while living it as 1? You might be the waymaker. The fourth is the anchor. Your defining characteristic is an unwavering faith that makes no logical sense to the outside world. In the face of every disappointment, every delay, every almost, your faith in God's promise for your covenant has remained. You are the one whose belief is the anchor they need to finally stop drifting in the currents of the world and moor themselves to the destiny God has for them. Is your faith the most stubborn thing about you? You might be the anchor. You are feeling the intensity of what is happening now. That tightness in your chest when I spoke of the intercessor. That heat that rose in you when I described the anchor. This is not a sign that something is wrong with you. This is a sign of the capacity you have to transform. The intensity of the attack is proportional to the magnitude of the turnaround. Whoever feels it weakly turns weakly. Whoever feels it strongly is on the verge of a divine reversal. And over your calling, heaven has already sealed 3 names of identity, 3 names that will carry you through the end of this year, giving shape to who you are when the spirit of missed timing tries to dissolve you into doubt. The first name is the Guardian of the Threshold. You are the one who stands guard at the door of your own heart, not to keep people out, but to ensure only the appointed one may enter. You have learned to discern the difference between a guest and a resident. You are the Guardian of the Threshold, who has been entrusted with protecting the sacred space of a covenant that is not yet visible, but is already real in the spirit. The second name is the Architect of Sanctuary. You are not just waiting, you are building. Every act of self-improvement, every prayer, every moment you choose integrity over compromise, you are adding a stone to a sanctuary, a place of peace so profound it can only be a joint creation of your obedience and God's grace. You are the Architect of Sanctuary who is building the home their spirit has been searching for. The third name is the Bearer of the Moed Seal. This is not just something you are waiting for. It is something you carry. Like a messenger carrying a sealed royal decree, you carry the divine appointment within your spirit. It is what makes you a target, but it is also what makes you unshakable. The seal is not on a future event, it is on you now. You are the bearer of the Moed Seal, who walks with the weight and authority of a scheduled miracle. The vulnerability of the Guardian of the Threshold is being accused by others and by your own inner critic of living in a fantasy. You're accused of being foolishly romantic, of being stuck on a feeling that might not even be real. That cynical voice that whispers, "You're just making this up," is the primary weapon the enemy uses against you. And what Solomon left for you to cover this specific vulnerability is not another book to fill your head with theories. It is a practical, applied ritual. It is a set of keys to lock the door against the accuser and anoint the threshold for the appointed one. The Code of Solomon's Wisdom, along with the audio for your sleep and the decrees for your morning, are the instruments designed for this exact battle. The link is in the first pinned comment. To recognize your calling as the Guardian and not take up the tools of a guardian is to leave the threshold unprotected one more night. And there are more things that need to be said before I send you on your way. If one of these 3 names hit you harder, write the number below. 1, 2, or 3. But before I send you with these names, you must be armed. There are 3 specific tactics the adversary will now use against the Guardian, the Architect, and the Bearer that you have become. He will move immediately tonight while the anointing is still fresh on you. The first tactic is comparison to the clock of others. He will show you couples who met younger, stories of quicker reunions, people whose waiting was shorter. He will whisper that your moed is behind schedule, that you are the exception to the rule, that God's timing for you is somehow flawed. He wants you to look at their timeline so you take your eyes off your own singular path. The second tactic is the interpretation of silence as rejection. In the days to come, there will be moments of divine silence, not absence, but silence. The adversary will take this sacred quiet, the space where God is working behind the scenes, and frame it as proof that you were wrong, that God has not heard you, that the promise is void. He wants you to mistake the stillness of God's strategy for the silence of God's departure. The third tactic is the pressure of the final 24 hours. The enemy knows the proximity of a breakthrough better than you do. When you are closest to the reunion, often just a day or an hour away, he will unleash a sudden, overwhelming wave of doubt, fear, and hopelessness. He creates a manufactured crisis to make you abandon your post right before the relief arrives. He fights hardest at the finish line because he knows he is about to lose. But for each tactic, God has given you a weapon. Against the comparison to the clock of others, you have the decree of the singular path. This is the spiritual authority to declare that your timeline is a sealed, sovereign document, incomparable to any other. It is the understanding that a moed is custom-made. Your declaration becomes, "My path is not late, it is precise. I honor the clock of heaven, not the calendar of the world. Against the interpretation of silence as rejection, you wield the memory of the altar. This is the act of intentionally returning your mind to this very moment, the moment you recognized the signs, heard the word, and received your names. This encounter is now an altar in your memory. When silence comes, you do not look for a new sign. You return to this one. Your declaration becomes, "The verdict was already given. The silence is not a no. It is the sound of my miracle being built." And against the pressure of the final 24 hours, you hold a kairos. The resolve of the final hour. This is the supernatural endurance to stand firm when everything in you wants to flee. It is the understanding that the greatest resistance comes right before the greatest reversal. You anchor your feet in the promise, knowing the intensity of the storm is the final proof of the coming dawn. Your declaration becomes, "I was built for this pressure. My resolve is the welcoming party for my breakthrough." And these three weapons alone are a memory. With the instrument, they become coverage. Recognizing the cycle of the missed connection without having the instrument that Solomon left is to receive the diagnosis without the treatment. It is to wake up to the problem without the remedy on your nightstand. And there is more. There are part and four signs of recognition. Beyond these three that I cannot open here, not for lack of time but for density, each one requires its own page with the exact counterweapon. And as long as I do not deliver these four here, the spirit of missed timing knows all of them. The guide delivers them. It is for when you see their face again in an unexpected place, so that your spirit recognizes them before your mind can doubt. It is for when you hear their voice speak your name for the first time, so you can distinguish the sound of covenant from common courtesy. It is for when your spirit recognizes them in a silent room before a single word is spoken, so you can trust the certainty that rises from within. The recognition without the instrument leaves you where you have always been, knowing the name, but with empty hands. And that is why there is one final obstacle that must be named before you say Amen. It is the most subtle, most pious-sounding lie of them all. It is the voice of the fear of seeming ungrateful. This is the voice that says, "You have so much already. A roof over your head, food to eat, your health. Is it not ungrateful to ask God for this one thing more for this person?" It disguises itself as humility, but it is a spiritual anesthetic. It seeks to make you feel guilty for the deepest God-given desire of your heart, so that you will bury your moed under a false sense of contentment. But before I release you, there is one last point. And so I ask you now, right where you are, to close your eyes and place your right hand over your chest. We are going to pray. And this is not a prayer of asking. It is a prayer of releasing. Father, I come before you in the name of the one listening to my voice, and I give you back the exhaustion that has accumulated in their body over these last months and years. I release the weight in their shoulders from carrying a question that had no name. I release the tension in their jaw from smiling through the ache. I release the fatigue in their spirit from standing watch alone for so long. And I declare over this child of God, I will not go back. I will not retreat into the familiar comfort of doubt. I will not give up 24 hours before the turning point. I will not dishonor the moed by treating it as a common thing. I will stand my ground on this new territory because this is the place of my turnaround. I release you now from the fear of seeming ungrateful. This is the most subtle chain, the fear that by preparing for your reunion, you are telling God that what He has already given is not enough. It is a lie. Your immediate preparation is the greatest act of gratitude. It is to say, Father, I so value what comes from you that I refuse to leave it waiting in the lobby of my heart. Declare this in a low voice now. My preparation is my praise. And I receive right now the three names that have been sealed over me, the guardian of the threshold, the architect of sanctuary, the bearer of the moed seal, not for me to boast but for me to remember, for me to cross what is coming with these names in my mouth, in my posture, in my soul, and before the voice that is coming now, I need you to hear one thing. The intensity of what you have been through is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is the evidence that you are carrying something so great. The enemy needed to silence you before you realized it. You were not attacked by chance. You were attacked precisely at the point where your destiny is meant to manifest with the greatest force. The heavier the attack, the more dangerous your breakthrough is to the kingdom of darkness. The pressure you felt was not a sign of your weakness. It was the sign of your proximity, the proximity of your reunion. If this hits you now, right below, I received the turning, and now, listen to the voice that speaks over you. I saw you in that crowded room the moment you looked up and their face turned away. I was there. I saw you sitting alone in that cafe when the echo of a stranger's laugh made your spirit leap. I was there. I saw you on that quiet Sunday afternoon, your finger tracing the empty space in a family photograph, and I felt the ache with you. I have never lost sight of you. I never closed your seat at my table. I never gave your portion to another. The waiting you endured was not a punishment. It was the sacred ground where I forged the capacity in you to hold the weight of a covenant love. I did not forget you. I was preparing you. What you called a missed connection, I called a divine preview. What you called chronic loneliness, I called clearing the sanctuary. What you called the ghost of a memory, I am calling the down payment on your reunion. Your name is engraved on the palms of my hands. The path of preparation is complete. The season of waiting is over. The Moed has been declared over your house. The seat at the table is yours. Your honor was never withheld. It was being preserved for this exact moment. And there is a voice speaking inside you right now, a voice that says, "This is not for me. This is for someone with greater faith, someone more worthy. I need you to hear this from me now. You have permission. You have permission to receive what you did not earn. You have permission to occupy the chair at the table without having to justify your place. You have permission to let the version of you that needed to suffer, to feel worthy, die tonight." Solomon did not prepare this instrument for those who are already ready. He prepared it for those who are tired. And the one who is tired is you. I now extend my hand toward your home and decree a covering of sealing over all that belongs to you, over your table, so that every meal may be an act of communion and not of anxiety, and that the conversations that take place there may be seasoned with wisdom from above. I declare coverage over your children and your spouse, if you have them. May your obedience tonight become a mantle of protection over them. May they feel the atmosphere of your home change, the weight lift, the lightness of God's presence enter. And I decree coverage over your work, over your hands, over every project and opportunity. May the recognition of your moed that you have learned here unlock divine favor in every partnership. May your immediate obedience become your greatest qualification in the eyes of men and in the eyes of God. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Before I release you, I want you to walk with me to a room you have not yet seen with your physical eyes. Don't force it. Just let the image arrive. There is a long table. Light comes from a source you cannot identify. There are people at the table. Some you have loved, some you have not yet met. The faces feel like family. They are all turned toward the head of the table, waiting. And there is one chair near the head of the table, empty. The shape of you is carved into its frame. The wood remembers you. Solomon is at the head of the table, and he looks at the empty chair, then at you. You are not creating this scene. You are remembering it. The chair has always been yours. It was only you who was missing. Don't say amen yet. Sit in this for a moment. Feel the weight of what just happened. That memory of the empty space in the photograph that the Father brought to your mind. It is this very chair. I want you to hear something before you close this video, because there's a phrase the adversary will whisper in your ear in the next 3 hours. I'll name that phrase now so you don't fall for it. But before the phrase, there is something you need to receive. What was sealed here now will be tested in the next Monday morning. The code of Solomon's wisdom is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. With the ritual of the righteous sleep and the awakening of clarity, the 7 morning decrees, for less than a coffee with a biscuit, because a guardian of the threshold without coverage decays on the next Monday morning. and the adversary is counting on that Monday morning. It is not an expense, it is an instrument, and Solomon prepared it for you to cross what is coming with a firm hand, not an empty one, with a 7-day full refund guarantee. The risk is ours. The hand is yours. Click now while the decree is still alive in your chest. Not tomorrow. Not after your shower. Because whoever leaves it for later, leaves it for never. And the adversary already knows this. In the next 3 hours he will speak within you. Not in a loud voice, in sequence 5 short phrases. You're just imagining it. It's too late now anyway. You're just lonely, that's all. If it was real, it would have happened back then. Don't get your hopes up again, you know how this ends. 5 waves. He tries from 5 angles. In one of them, you yield. Today, now, before the next Monday morning. Not after. Today. And Solomon will sustain it with you. And now the last word of this video. And in the next word I bring to this channel, I will deliver to you the 3 keys to keeping the moed active after the reunion. Whoever heard this word today needs to hear that one in sequence, because what comes next is not a continuation. It is the fortification. Click the video that will appear on your screen in a few seconds. And still in this video, chosen one, before I seal this hour with you, I return one last time to this request. You walked with me until here. You crossed every word, every decree, every sign. And if at any moment of this message you felt heaven touch you, you know this video was no accident. The voluntary donation link continues open in the first pinned comment, right below the digital book. Not as a charge, not as exchange, as the chosen ones return to the altar from which the word came forth. Any amount your heart points to, and heaven sees every gesture. Heaven sees, and heaven multiplies it over your home, over your days, over what you don't yet know is coming. That was my last request. I'll wait for you there, chosen one, and when this happens, and it will happen soon, you will remember this moment. And before you go, think of one specific person, not many. 1. The person whose name came to you now when I said that, the person who has been silent, faithful, unseen, the person whose own anointing has attracted attacks that have no name, someone who has been coming home carrying a weight that is not theirs, someone who needs the same sealing you just received. Send this video to them. They are waiting for this word to arrive, and when that person opens this video, they will need what you just received, including the instrument that Solomon left. It could be what opens their cycle too. This is not a favor from you, it is service, and heaven sees. Comment below, Amen received, and send this video to that specific person who came to mind. It is done. What was delivered here has been delivered. You are not the same person who pressed play. You are deeply loved. You were never forgotten. The chair is yours. And so it is sealed. The next Monday morning can wait 10 more seconds. Now, you may say Amen.